Hi, Tim Reid, Deputy Incident Commander for Northern Rockies Team 1. Wanted to give you a quick update on activities from yesterday, last night, and then what we're doing today on the Thorn Creek fire. And apologies, I will be turning and speaking to the map and then turning back to the camera. Where I'd like to start is up here in the Cougar Peak Road area, Graves Creek area. We've shown more containment on the map. This section here has been put into patrol status. So essentially this part of the toe of the slope above Thompson Falls from Cougar Peak down towards Meyer Gulch is in patrol status. And what that means is that smokes, heat have been extinguished from the fire line within several hundred feet back towards the interior of the fire, removing any threat that could breach the line. And so there still will be personnel on that, but they will be patrolling and just looking for smokes, but they will be visible. One thing I'd like to speak to is this red fire perimeter. This map is single dimensional. This red area is just a graphic representation of kind of the fire footprint in general. It does not mean that everything within this perimeter has been burned. It's actually a mosaic, and perhaps today with the winds and the relief from some of the smoke, you'll actually be able to see the green mosaic, a few dead trees, but there are also continuous patches of green habitat that are out there. Our goal with the firing operations is to accomplish 2 or 3 different things. The first concept is that this fire is still going. The wind and the terrain have not aligned to push great fire growth, but that can happen, and it very likely will in the 6 to 8 weeks that we have left of fire season. So with that in mind, our firing operations are designed to keep this fire perimeter relatively square and continuous, and so that we can incrementally move it towards where it is inevitably going to go. It is left to its own devices, it will roll out and keep going this way, likely with a high uncontrolled intensity, which can have some negative impacts on habitat in terms of severe burn intensity. What we're doing is applying fire through aerial ignition and then also hand ignition down along the urban interface front to remove fuels primarily on the ground level with a backing fire. And that's going to be particularly important in this Ashley Creek municipal watershed value here. And so what we did last night was, or yesterday evening actually is a good place to start. We used aerial ignition to put fire along this ridge divide between Dry Gulch and Weber Gulch, and the fire spread off of both sides of the ridge in a backing manner, slowly removing fuels off the ground. Today's operation is planning to continue that with moving that fire down the slope into Weber Gulch, and then also starting to put fire into the head of Ashley Creek. And this top-down model follows the terrain, and the whole goal is to avoid a fire that can align with the winds and rush uphill and spew embers and burn with a great intensity that you don't want to see in a municipal watershed. Last night, the 2 hotshot crews worked towards each other from these 2 blue squares, which are drop points, and fired the hand line and the dozer line that had been constructed to build a depth of fuel removal off that line. And they're going to continue that tonight towards this direction, keeping pace with the incremental advance of fire on this flank. This line has been prepped with mechanical equipment, hand line, there's water handling equipment in places, and all of the resources that have been freed up from this section of line being secured have moved down into place over here, and there will be a day shift, there will be a night shift, there will be personnel there around the clock tending to this fire. Kind of what we're shooting for with putting fire into this major value at risk of Ashley Creek, the municipal watershed, is that we're anticipating some weather this weekend with higher humidities, maybe a shot or two of precip that will work with us towards keeping the fire intensity really low, given that there are a lot of dead and down fuels in the upper part of this drainage. So that's going to help us out a lot. And our plan will be to keep working this flank towards the Copper King fire scar to tie that in and secure it. With that, we feel that these values at risk in the Clark Fork River corridor are safe, and then also that there has been a low intensity removal of fuel that otherwise under the remaining season and just natural fire conditions likely would burn explosively. And that's the end of my update. If you have questions, you can always call our information shop here at the Incident Command Post.